It is just a sliver of blue water, a ribbon barely 30 miles wide, yet the world's powerful nations hold their breath as ships drift through. The Strait of Hormuz, a name that sounds almost mythical, sits quietly, like a coiled snake, ready to change the fate of nations. It is small, yes, but power does not measure itself in miles. It measures itself in what you can control. Imagine a vast ocean, but all the world's oil must pass through this little door. Imagine the tension, navies watching, cargo ships lined up, silent and nervous. For centuries, Hormuz has been this, a tiny key that unlocks a giant treasure. Nations have fought for it, traded through it, and sometimes lost themselves because of it. This is the story of Hormuz, a place where power is concentrated, where history is made. This is the artery that pumps life and faith between continents. The world may forget it in peaceful times, but the strait never forgets its own power. Through this essay, we will travel through time. We will see how this tiny strait has shaped the Muslim world, and how its lessons echo in our present day. The Strait of Hormuz, squeezed between Iran and Oman, is a narrow but powerful waterway. Every ship, every drop of oil, must pass through this needle's eye. Almost a third of the world's oil flows here. For centuries, Hormuz has connected east and west, a crossroads of trade, culture, and power. Long before oil tankers, long before cannons and warships, the Strait of Hormuz was alive with the sails of Muslim traders. In the early Islamic era, this was the sea road of faith. Ships loaded with dates, pearls, and fine silks set out from Basra, Muscat, and Hormuz itself. Their captains were not conquerors, they were merchants, and their greatest cargo was honesty. Muslims used this route to reach faraway lands, India, East Africa, even the distant shores of Malaysia and Indonesia. They did not carry swords. They carried stories, fair deals, and a new faith. People along the trade routes saw their trustworthiness, their kindness, and slowly, Islam spread, not by force, but by respect. This is a story we often forget. Most people think of armies, but Islam's heart, in these waters, beat strongest in the market. It was the trader's handshake, the merchant's promise that built bridges between people. The Strait of Hormuz was the highway of this peaceful revolution. Every deal was a lesson. Every voyage was a journey of faith. Here, at Hormuz, Islam showed the world what power looks like, not in swords, but in honesty. But peace is always fragile. In 1507, ships with red crosses on their sails appeared on the horizon. The Portuguese Armada had come. They wanted to control the trade, the wealth, and the faith that flowed through Hormuz. Cannons thundered, fortresses rose on the island. The Portuguese seized the strait and turned its freedom into chains. Now, every Muslim trader who passed through Hormuz faced new rules, heavy taxes, harsh inspections, and the constant threat of violence. The Portuguese took what they pleased, breaking the back of local trade. They forced Muslim ships to pay for their own lifeline. They tried to choke off the spread of Islam, and for a while, it seemed they might succeed. Markets that once thrived fell silent. Merchants who had built their lives on trust now faced suspicion and fear. The Portuguese were not just after gold, they wanted power. And for nearly 115 years, they held the key to Hormuz, locking out the Muslim world from its own gateway. But history is never still. The strait, abused and wounded, waited for its true guardians to return. In 1622, hope returned to the shores of Hormuz. Tired of foreign chains, Muslims united. Persian forces under Shah Abbas, with the help of English ships, launched a bold attack. Their goal was simple: to reclaim the heart of the Muslim world. The battle was fierce. Cannon smoke darkened the sky. But the will of the people, honestly, was stronger than any fortress. The Portuguese, proud and stubborn, found themselves trapped. Their cannons just could not match the fury of a united people. One by one, their defenses fell. At last, the fortress crumbled. Muslim flags flew once again over Hormuz. The strait was, at last, home. This victory was more than just a change of rulers. It was the rebirth of hope, of pride, of unity. Trade returned, faith flowed freely. The people of Hormuz remembered what it felt like to be masters of their own destiny. But the lesson was clear. Only together could Muslims protect what was most precious. Only united could they keep their place in history. Today, Hormuz is more than just a memory. It is honestly the heartbeat of global industry. Every single day, giant oil tankers, some as long as a city block, move through its narrow waters. Nearly a third of the world's oil passes right here. One accident, or even one act of war, and, well, the world could change overnight. Superpowers watch the strait like hawks. The United States Navy, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, and fleets from many other nations all sail these waters. They know, but if Hormuz closes, the world's markets tremble. Gas prices soar. Factories slow. Even the richest nations feel the pressure. This tiny strait, honestly, holds the world's economy in its hands. But it's not only about oil. It's about power. Who controls the flow? Who sets the rules? The strait has become a chessboard, where every move matters. Sometimes the world forgets just how quickly peace can turn to tension. Yet, beneath the noise of engines and the glare of headlines, the lessons of history whisper. This place has always belonged to those who are united. The story of Hormuz is not just about water or oil. It is, in a way, a lesson written in waves and stone. When Muslims were united, when they trusted each other, stood together and defended their strait, no outsider could rule them. Trade flourished, faith shone, the world respected their strength. But when they were divided, when suspicion, greed, or fear crept in, foreign powers moved in. The Portuguese came, not because they were stronger, but because Muslims were divided. The strait suffered, the people suffered, the world changed. This lesson is old, but it is always new. Unity brings control. Division opens the door to foreign rule. This is as true now as it was 4 centuries ago. What will we choose? That question still hangs over the waters of Hormuz every single day. Walk the shores of Hormuz today, and you can almost feel history's heartbeat. The call to prayer rises above the crash of waves. Ships pass quietly, watched by soldiers and sailors from every corner of the world. Traders still bargain in busy markets, their voices just as lively as ever. But, there is also tension. The world's eyes are on this place. Small arguments can become global headlines. Leaders know that one mistake could bring the world to a halt. Yet, the people of Hormuz keep living, keep trading, keep believing. They remember the times of unity, and they fear the pain of division. The strait is still a bridge between East and West, Islam and the world. Its lessons are alive in every handshake, every prayer, every deal made in its shadow. Hormuz is not just a place, it is a symbol, a reminder of what unity can build and what division can destroy. As the sun sets over the waters of Hormuz, golden light dances on the waves. Ships move like shadows. The world holds its breath. Here, history is not just a memory, it is a warning and a hope. Muslims look to Hormuz and remember, when we were united, we controlled our destiny. When we divided, others took what was ours. The choice is still ours to make. The lesson is clear, written by centuries of struggle and triumph. Let us not forget the cost of division. Let us not lose the power that comes from trust, from working together. The Strait of Hormuz is tiny, but its message is huge. It calls us to unity, not just for power, but for peace, for dignity, for the future. This is Hormuz's untold power. It is not just a strait. It is a mirror, showing us the best and the worst of ourselves. May we choose unity and let the world see what true strength looks like.